We are studying chapter number 5 in Science 1, which is heat. In the last class, we focused on the anomalous behavior of water and we looked at a lot of details related to that. And it's a very confusing concept, right? So, what we are going to do today is we will look at the same concept once again. We will ensure that we have I have taught you correctly and you have understood it correctly. Then we will look at the next two concepts, humidity and unit of measurement of heat. Short class, it will not take much time, but we will need our textbooks, notebooks, pens, and pencils. These are the three things we will study. When we say anomaly, we will study the anomalous behavior of water. Humidity, we will understand क्या होता है, humidity कैसे होता है, and unit of measurement of heat. First, anomalous behavior of water. We have studied this once. I am repeating this. Ensure that we have understood it correctly. Generally, once again, generally what happens is when there is increase of temperature, that is, temperature increases, the volume of the substance increases. Volume increases means the substance takes more space, more space. More space means expansion. So whenever there is an increase in temperature, there is an increase of volume. We can say in simple English, there is expansion. And we also see this happening even when there is no increase of temperature, that is during melting and boiling, when the state is changing. We know generally the volume of liquid is more than the volume of solid, and the volume of the gas is more than the volume of the liquid. So when we are heating something, if it is solid, its temperature will increase, its volume will increase, and it will become a liquid. It will melt. Similarly, if we heat a liquid, its temperature will increase, its volume will increase, and after some time, after a certain point, it will stop being a liquid. It will become a gas. This process is called boiling, melting and boiling. This is what really happens. Whenever we heat, the volume increases. That is, expansion happens. We see that happening in melting and boiling also. And completely opposite things happen when we decrease the temperature. What is that opposite thing? When we decrease the temperature, instead of increase of volume, the volume decreases. छोटा हो जाता है. The volume decreases. छोटा होना is called contraction. Opposite of expansion is contraction. And we see that happening in the state, in the change of state also. The gas will convert into liquid. It's called condensation. If it is liquid, it will turn into solid. It's called freezing. Remember, we looked at that big chart in the beginning. Solid, liquid, gas, melting, boiling, condensation, freezing, sublimation. This is the general observation. This is the general property. This is what generally happens when we heat something, when we increase the temperature of a substance. But in case of water, and in case of water, specifically in this range of temperature, 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, the general thing that happens with other substances, that does not happen, something else happens. What is that something else? That something else is from between 0 degree and 4 degrees Celsius. Suppose we are moving from 0 to 4. That will happen when we heat. That is, we are increasing the temperature. When we do that, instead of increase of volume, the volume decreases. That means we have contraction, not expansion. But while that happens, the state still changes from solid to liquid. See, this is not the anomaly. We are heating and the state is changing, melting happens. Solid ice turns into liquid water. That is fine. That is not a problem. But the anomaly is the volume in general, which increases when we increase the temperature between 0 degree and 4 degrees Celsius. In case of water, the volume decreases. There is contraction. This is the anomaly. And completely opposite thing happens when we are decreasing the temperature. That is, we are moving from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. Generally, what happens when we are decreasing the temperature? The volume decreases. But in this case, the volume increases. Volume increases means expansion happens. That is the anomaly. But when we look at the change of the state, we still see what we expected. We expected the liquid to become solid. And here also the liquid is becoming solid when we are decreasing the temperature. So the anomaly is only with respect to the volume. The anomaly is not with respect to the state. Anomaly is with respect to the volume. Anomaly is with respect to whether it is contraction or expansion when we change the temperature. That is the only anomaly. How is this phenomenon related with pressure? How is this melting, boiling related with pressure? How is this volume related with pressure? We all know if you take a sponge and we squeeze it, if we apply pressure on it, it becomes smaller, it contracts, its volume decreases. If we remove the pressure, air goes back into the pores that are there in the sponge and it expands. We all have seen it. Now not think of the sponge, think of something that is a solid. Something that is a solid. And we are trying to heat it. If we heat a solid, the temperature increases, the distance between the molecules increase, and the solid converts into a liquid. Generally. But if we look at the same thing with respect to pressure, क्या हो रहा है pressure को? If we increase pressure, then it will be difficult for the molecules, it will be difficult for the particles to go away from each other. That means if we increase the pressure, it will be difficult for the molecules to, it will be difficult for the solid to become liquid. It will be difficult for the liquid to change from liquid to gas, क्योंकि हमने pressure बढ़ा दिया. हम रोक रहे हैं ना उसको. So even if we increase the temperature, if we increase the pressure, it will be difficult to melt something, or it will be difficult to boil something. We can say that when we are increasing the pressure, we are increasing the melting point. We are increasing the boiling point. क्योंकि अब और उसको ज्यादा टेम्परेचर की जरूरत होगी to separate the molecules, to separate the particles. Generally speaking. Similarly, if we decrease the pressure, why do we have a specific shape? ये भी हमने पढ़ा है. We have studied about atmospheric pressure. हमने पढ़ा है the pressure that is applied by the atmosphere on us is the atmospheric pressure. तो हम क्यों नहीं फट जाते? Then we studied the pressure of air inside us, the blood pressure, everything. It balances out the atmospheric pressure. So if the pressure decreases, if the pressure outside of us decreases, but the pressure inside of us remains same, then we will expand. No. So if the pressure decreases, हमारे ऊपर जो pressure है, if that is decreased, it becomes easier. It becomes easier for the molecules and particles to fly away. That means it will become easy to melt. It will become easy to boil. It will become easy to boil. What does that mean? It means the melting point is decreasing. कम temperature में ही melt हो जाएगा. The boiling point is also decreasing. कम temperature पे ही boil हो जाएगा. Boil हो जाएगा. It doesn't mean that it will reach a certain temperature. Boiling means the state will change from liquid to gas. So it is not just the pressure which is deciding when something melts or when something boils. It is also the pressure that decides the melting point and boiling point. So generally, if we increase the pressure, the melting point and boiling becomes difficult. That means melting point and boiling point have gone up. When we release the pressure, when we decrease the pressure, melting and boiling becomes easier. That means melting point and boiling points have decreased. Melting point and boiling points are temperatures. Now here comes the anomaly again. With respect to water, H2O in the temperature range 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius. If we increase the pressure, generally what will happen? The melting point will increase. क्योंकि उसको melt करना means solid becoming liquid. It will become difficult. But you know that the volume of water is more than the volume of ice. So if we are increasing the pressure, that means we are decreasing the pressure. That means we are making it easy for it to melt. We are decreasing the melting point. When we put pressure, the molecules are coming nearer. In general, what will happen is melting will become difficult. But in case of water, it will melt easily. The melting point decreases. Similarly, if we decrease the pressure, it becomes more difficult for the molecules to come together and then turn into liquid. Difficult. That means melting point increases. Mane 0 degrees Celsius may now it will not melt. We will have to heat it to a little bit higher temperature. This is the anomaly with respect to pressure. Once again, with respect to temperature, water between 0 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Celsius, when we increase the temperature, the volume contracts, reduces. When we decrease the pressure, the volume increases, it expands. This is the anomaly with respect to volume, temperature. When we look at it from the pressure perspective, what we are seeing is in case of water between 0 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Celsius, when we increase the pressure, it will melt easily. When we decrease the pressure, it will not melt easily. So now let us go back to that ice ball. We have grated that ice, we have picked up the lump of ice and we are putting it, clumping it around the stick. So we are applying pressure, increase of pressure. When the pressure increases, the melting point decreases, means it melts easily. So the ice momentarily converts into water. And when we release, we are decreasing the pressure. When we are decreasing the pressure, it becomes difficult for it to melt. That means the water reconverts, it converts back into ice and it stays there. Same thing happens when we are applying pressure on a block of ice with a wire. The pressure, increase of pressure, melts it, decreases the melting point. That means it melts. So the water goes through the wire goes through the ice. And as it goes down, the part of the ice which is above the wire, it experiences less pressure. Because of experience of less pressure, it goes back to ice form. And we end up passing the wire through the ice. And after we have removed the wire, if we wait for some time, the ice will join again. That is why this magic happens. Suppose you go on a trek, you go on you go to the Himalayas or any such high mountains. As we go up, as we increase our altitude, what happens to the atmospheric pressure? Does it increase or decrease? जितना जितना ऊपर जाते रहेंगे, what will happen to the atmospheric pressure? The pressure that is there on us because of the atmosphere, will it increase or decrease? Think, answer. Atmosphere is the layer of around Earth, and it is limited to a certain height. If we are on the surface of the Earth, then all the air is applying pressure on us. Aman replied, Ajaz replied, Alfia replied. But when we start going up in the air, when we go above the surface of the Earth, the amount of air that is impacting us is reducing, because some air is above us, some air is below us. So the atmospheric pressure decreases. It does not increase, it decreases. We are trekking, we are hiking, we are mountaineering, we are at a very high altitude. We want to make coffee, we want to drink water. Already it is very cold, it is freezing. You want to have some water or have some tea or have some coffee. What will we have to do? The basic thing that we need to do to have water, to make tea, coffee. What is that process that we do? क्या बात है, ये भी नहीं भूल गए. We need to boil the water, na? Whether it is coffee or tea, we need to boil the water. Can we make tea, coffee without boiling? We have to boil. And no, Sandhya, we can start by taking something with us, but kitna hum apne saath kitna chai coffee leke chalenge? It is not possible. So we will have to cook there. Right? So when we try to boil the water, see what is happening. The answer is on the screen. Huh? The question is coming now. We are at a higher altitude. That means the pressure has decreased. Because the pressure has decreased, see what has happened to the boiling point. Boiling point has also decreased. So the water that boils on the surface of Earth at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, maybe it will boil at a temperature of, say, 70 degrees Celsius when we are on the Himalayas, because that pressure has decreased. So the boiling point has also decreased. What is the meaning of boiling? Boiling means the liquid water converting into water vapor. We are not in the 0 to 4 degrees Celsius range. We are trying to heat it beyond. We are trying to make tea. We are trying to make coffee. We are trying to cook. So which is much beyond 0.4 degrees Celsius. It is around 100 degrees Celsius. But when we try to do that, when we are trying to heat something to 100 degrees Celsius, if something is water, because of the decrease of the pressure, its boiling point has decreased. So इससे पहले की चाय बने, इससे पहले की कॉफी बने, before the food is ready, the water will evaporate. It will boil. It will convert into water vapor and vanish. So cooking is extremely difficult at higher altitudes. Next thing we will study is humidity. Humidity को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? किसी को पता है? हिंदी में या मराठी में या हमारे भोजपुरी में? Humidity. Wow, I'm getting some interesting words in the chat. So some of you are saying nami. I agree. Some of you are, one person is saying pasina. No, pasina is not humidity, but I understand why you are saying pasina. Pasina is called sweat beta. It is not humidity. And some people Chand is saying moisture. Yes. And the interesting answer is from Sandhya and Rohit. They are saying humidity is insaniyat. Insaniyat is humanity, not humidity. Not humidity, humanity. Alfia, os is not humidity. Os is dew. We will study that also. Another word we use for humidity, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, is called humus. Humus, humus. Humus is nami. And not just any nami. It is the moisture in the air. That is what we are going to study now. I'm sure all of you know about evaporation. Please tell me and please share with the entire class what is your understanding of evaporation. And don't worry what sir has written on the screen. Sir keeps writing random things. You tell me what is your understanding of evaporation. What is evaporation? Now don't do a Google search now. Raise your hand and share if you know. Type and share with everyone if you know. Evaporation, as you rightly said, is the process in which the liquid turns into gas. Evaporation is usually used when water is converting into water vapor. We can use the word evaporation for other liquids also. More common to use the word evaporation in the context of water. So it is about the change of state of liquid water from liquid water to gaseous water vapor. It is not about the sun rays. It is also not about cooking rice. It is about changing of the state of the water from liquid to gas. Now, think a little logically. Also, think what we studied now. When will water turn into water vapor? When? Some of you have already said we need to heat it. Tell me the exact thing that needs to happen. How much heat do we need? What temperature do we need to reach? What are those things called? Think, remember. Okay, Chand says 100 degrees Celsius, Prachi says 100 degrees Celsius. So yes, in case of water, only when we heat the water to the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it starts converting into gas, liquid to gas, water to water vapor. And this point, thank you Karthik for using this phrase, boiling point. Right? So we have to boil. If we have to convert a liquid into gas, we will have to boil. To boil, we will have to heat. We have to increase the temperature. Right? So this change of state from liquid to gas happens at the boiling point. And this is how evaporation is different from boiling. Evaporation is also the process, just like boiling, where liquid turns into gas. But the difference between evaporation and boiling is boiling happens at boiling point. Evaporation happens below boiling point. So if and when water turns into water vapor, liquid water turns into gaseous water vapor below 100 degrees Celsius, that process is called evaporation. If it happens at 100 degrees Celsius, it's called boiling. If it happens below 100 degrees Celsius, it is called evaporation. I'm not joking. Think again. You said sun is hot. Sun rays are falling on us. It is heating everything. Agreed. I'm sure all of you have gone to the sea beach. You have touched the ocean water, sea water. Was it boiling? Was it hot? Did you burn your hands? Did you burn your legs by getting into the ocean or sea? When you go to a lake, a pond, a river, when you jump into them, when we go for swimming, is that water boiling? Do you get burns? Nothing of that sort happens. But is the water evaporating? Yes, it is. Water is constantly evaporating. The rate of evaporation increases with the increase of temperature, agreed. But evaporation does not need boiling point. Evaporation happens even below boiling point. We are not going into why this happens or how this happens. Please save it for your own research. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe when you study physics later in college. But be very assured, that evaporation happens below the boiling point temperature. Okay, that's evaporation. What happens if evaporation is happening? We have so much of water on the planet Earth, so much so that more than 70% of the surface of the Earth is covered by water, mainly oceans. And then there are rivers and lakes and ponds, there are seas, and then there are polar ice regions. There is ice on very high altitude mountains. So more than 70% of the surface of our Earth is covered by water in different forms. And evaporation is constantly happening. Because evaporation is constantly happening, what it means is water is constantly converting into water vapor. Kahan ja raha hai? It is going into the atmosphere. Remember, atmosphere is the layer of air around Earth. So always there is some water vapor in the atmosphere, and the reason is evaporation. If I now ask you, what is air? Is it an element, compound, or mixture? What will be your answer? Air is a mixture. Water vapor is one of the smaller components, one of the lesser components of atmosphere. We have oxygen, carbon dioxide, other gases, other elements and compounds, all in the gaseous state. No, there are some things in the solid state also. The pollutants, the solid pollutants, the smoke, the soot, the unburnt carbon particles because of burning fossil fuel, all those things, the dust, they are also there in the atmosphere. You must have studied about this when you studied different types of rains in geography. Rain is possible because water vapor is there. Na? Rain is possible because there is some dust. There are some solid particles in our atmosphere. Now this water vapor is present in atmosphere, and this makes water is what? Water vapor is what? Another form of water. It makes the air moist, गीला करता है उसको. And this moisture which is there in the air is nothing but the water vapor in the atmosphere. This water vapor that is present in the atmosphere, or this moisture in the air, in one word, we call humidity. It is the moisture in the air. It is the water vapor in the atmosphere. It is the gilapan that we experience. Not the pasina. Pasina comes from our body. Humidity is something that is there in the air and we experience. When Alfia, your answer was right in a way, because when the humidity is higher, we sweat more, or we feel the sweat more. But sweat is completely different from humidity. So how do we measure humidity? Measure humidity means how do we measure how much water vapor is there in the air? How much water vapor is there in the air? For that, I would ask you to, did I miss something here? 1 second. Yep. Before we measure, let's understand what determines how much water vapor is there in the air. If you take a cloth and if you want to pick water from the cloth, अगर हम बड़ा कपड़ा लेंगे और उसको हम पानी में भिगोएंगे, it will absorb more water. जब हम घर में पोछा लगाते हैं तो बड़े कपड़े से लगाते हैं, रुमाल से तो नहीं लगाते. Because if you take the rumal, it will hold less water. Agreed or not agreed? Right. Similarly, if water vapor has to be there in the atmosphere, if water vapor has to be there in the air, of course, if there is more air, then it can hold more water vapor. Should be very clear, should not be any doubt. If you have more volume of air, then it will be able to hold more water vapor. What is more interesting is the connection with the temperature. If the temperature is more, again the particles are far away, there is more space, and it can become colder, there is more scope for it to become colder. So the higher the temperature, the more water vapor it can hold. The capacity for water vapor is directly proportional to the temperature of air. Water at 30 degrees, air at 30 degrees Celsius and air at 15 degrees Celsius, mane summer and winter. In summer, the atmosphere can hold more water vapor because it is hotter. In winters, the air can hold less water vapor. Why? Because it is colder. Now let us understand. When we are saying that sometimes the air can hold less water vapor, sometimes the air can hold more water vapor, sometimes the humidity can be higher, sometimes the humidity can be less. How do we measure it? You will read the bottom of the page, number 66. Bottom of the page, number 66. There is a sentence which starts with suppose. It's in bold, dark. Don't read that. Uske niche jo 3 paragraphs hain. The water vapor content in air is measured from there to the last formula. Read and tell me what are the 2 different ways we can measure humidity. Pay attention to the script. Of course, if you have to measure humidity, that is amount of water vapor in the air, that measurement would have 2 things, at least 3 things actually. How much water vapor is there, how much air is there, and what is the temperature. All 3 things are important because amount of water vapor that the air can hold depends on both the amount of air we have, the volume of air, also not the amount of air, the volume of the air, and the temperature of the air. We can measure the humidity, we can talk about humidity in 2 different ways. One is called the absolute humidity. In absolute humidity, what we do is we just tell the amount of water vapor that is there in the given volume of air. If we are given a volume of air, how much water vapor does it contain? When we divide, we get the absolute volume of air. क्यों? इससे क्या पता चलता है? Now, amount of water vapor, any amount. Now this is about mass. This is about mass. Now mass is measured in kg. So amount of water vapor in kg. Volume of air, volume is volume, कितना space वो लेता है. The SI unit of volume is meter cube. Meter, meter, meter. 1 meter length, 1 meter breadth, 1 meter height. तो जो हमको एयर दिया गया है, if we measure the amount of water vapor, if we weigh, if we get the mass of the water vapor and we divide it by the volume of the air, we will get a unit. We will get a value in this unit, kg meter per meter cube. इसका मतलब है कि हमको जितना हवा दिया गया उसके एक यूनिट में, एक यूनिट वॉल्यूम में इतना अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर वेपर है. दैट इज एब्सोल्यूट ह्यूमिडिटी. कितना है? This absolute humidity is also with respect to the volume of the air. Please be very clear about this. It's not just kg, it is kg per meter cube. Now, the second way we measure it is not just कि कितना है. The second measurement is कितना हो सकता है और कितना है. कितना हो सकता है और कितना है. So कितना है is कितना है? Amount of water vapor. It is how much water vapor is there now. कितना हो सकता है? So that will be amount or mass possible. I'm just writing it in simpler way. कितना हो सकता है? This is called relative humidity. So the numerator is also a kilogram. The denominator is also a kilogram. कितना हो सकता है? What will it depend on? It will depend on the temperature and the volume. So at a given temperature, what is the maximum amount of water vapor it can hold? That is the denominator. What is the actual amount of water that is present now? That is the numerator. So both numerator and denominator are measured in kg. So this division results in a number, pure number, which does not have any unit of measurement. Kilogram divided by kilogram is just a number. It's a ratio. Commonly, we don't leave this as a fraction. We convert this into percentage by multiplying it by 100. Then it will be measured in percentage. We know ना, अगर हमको 5 में से 2 मार्क आए हैं तो परसेंटेज कैसे कैलकुलेट करते हैं? 2 by 5 multiplied by 100. So percentage. Absolute humidity is how much of water vapor is there in the unit volume of air. Relative humidity is how much amount of water vapor is there and how does it compare with how much amount of water vapor can be there at the given temperature. And we express it in percentage. Generally, it is observed we feel humid. जो पसीना आता है हमको जब, we feel humid when the relative humidity is 60% or above. माने एयर में at that given temperature जितना वाटर वेपर हो सकता है, अगर उसका 60% है, then we start feeling humid. गीला गीला लगने लगता है ना. That is humidity. Pasina is not humidity. Us feeling moist is humidity. Because of the water vapor in the air, that is humidity. And if the relative humidity of the air is below 60%, then we don't feel that. We don't feel moist. You tell me now, in which season do we feel more humid? Is it summer or winter? Very easy question. Is it summer or winter? Summer. Invariably, summer. Now, what is happening in summer with respect to temperature? Is the temperature high or is the temperature low? Temperature is high. What happens to the what happens when the temperature is high? The amount of water vapor the air can hold, does it increase or does it decrease? Temperature has gone up, so it can hold more water vapor, and the rate of evaporation has also increased. Enough. So especially during the summer, not when it is very hot. When it is very hot, even the water vapor will, even the sweat will evaporate, right? When suddenly during summer we have clouds, then we start feeling humid. Think again, कब humidity ज्यादा है, सर्दियों में कि गर्मियों में? Is it really in summer or is it really in winter? I asked you a difficult question. I asked you a tricky question. Okay? Feeling humid is not a very simple phenomenon. Feeling humid is a complex phenomenon. It includes, it depends on how much water vapor is there in the air. It depends on how much we are sweating, right? And we get confused whether we are feeling humid because of the sweat or we are feeling humid because of the humidity, right? In winter, when the temperature of the air is less, we feel we expect that it will be more humid, but because the temperature is low, rate of evaporation has decreased. Because the rate of evaporation has decreased, the humidity has decreased. There is less water vapor in the air. So there is more space for water vapor in the air. And because of that, that dry air sucks the moisture from our skin and our skin becomes dry. Our lips crack, our skin cracks. आप cold cream लगाते. In the summer, when the temperature is higher, there is more evaporation. There is more water vapor in the air. The air is not dry. It is more humid. And because of that, our skins do not crack. But we feel bad in the summer because of the sweat. Humidity. 60% or more, we will feel the humidity. Less than 60%, we will not feel the humidity. Dew, which Alfia already mentioned, O's. Think about a time when you took a cold bottle of water from the fridge and you kept it outside. Bottle was inside the water, but after some time you start seeing water outside the bottle, on the bottle, and not only just on the surface of the bottle. There is so much water that it drips, और जहां बॉटल हम रखे हैं वहां गीला हो जाता है. सबने देखा है ना? And to prevent all this, some people use coasters on table ताकि table गीला ना हो, table cloth गीला ना हो. So there is a small plate on which the cold glass is kept. Coasters. All of you would have seen, especially in the cold winter mornings, early mornings, it becomes extremely difficult to see these things in big polluted cities. But when you go to the villages, when you go to cleaner places, colder places, you would see if you wake up in the morning, another difficult thing for us to do. If you wake up in the morning, go for a walk, we will see water droplets on the ground, water droplets on trees, on leaves. We must have seen this कि कार रात को बाहर रखी हुई है. जब हम सुबह उठते हैं, there is water on the windscreen. ये तो देखा है सबने. It's not fog, beta. Fog is a gas. What we are seeing is droplets of water, liquid water we are seeing, which is called dew, D-E-W, O's. क्या हुआ? क्यों बना ये dew? It is something related to humidity that we studied now, just now. Yes, in grass also, on grass, on all the surfaces. What happened is, the things, you will see the dew on certain things. You will not see the dew in the air. Dew cannot be in the air. Fog can be in the air. So the things are cold. The car is cold. The grass is cold. Right? And there is water vapor in the atmosphere. That water vapor is coming in contact with the cold surface of whether it is a glass, whether it is a water bottle, whether it is a car, whether it is a grass. It is coming in contact with the cold temperature. Now remember and tell me what happens when water vapor becomes cold. What will happen when water vapor becomes cold? What will happen? If water becomes hot, it becomes water vapor. If water vapor becomes cold, what will happen? Of course, it will turn back into water. The opposite process of boiling. The gas will turn into liquid, the water vapor will turn into water. And we don't have a container. So the water, wherever that water vapor is coming in contact with colder surfaces, it is condensing. Remember the method, the process is called condensation. It is condensing into liquid. It is condensing into water droplets, that is dew. Another way to say the same thing is, because we have decreased the temperature, because the temperature has decreased, the amount of water vapor that the air can contain, that also has decreased. यही तो हमने पढ़ा अभी. The amount of water vapor that air can hold is directly proportional to the temperature. So if temperature goes up, it can hold more water vapor. If the temperature goes down, it can hold less water vapor. So when the temperature decreases, the water vapor that is there in the air, it will convert into liquid and dew is formed. This is also one of the reasons of rain. If there is a lot of water vapor in the air and the temperature decreases, or when that water vapor rises up, it loses heat, it cools down, it falls back. It first forms clouds and then clouds form rain. So this is related to humidity. Humidity is the reason why we have dew. And this temperature at which the water vapor in the air converts into dew is called dew point. The temperature at which the water vapor in the air converts into dew. It is the temperature. It's called the dew point. So dew point is a temperature. And depending on dew point, depending on how much water vapor is in the air, we call it saturated or unsaturated. Saturated air means jitna usme how much ever amount of water vapor it can hold, it is already holding. That means relative humidity is 100%. Unsaturated air means it can still hold some water vapor. So dew happens when we reach the saturated point of saturation. जितना वो hold कर सकता है उतना already hold कर रहा है. If we add more water vapor to it, it cannot hold. So it will turn back into water. If the air is already containing the maximum amount of water vapor it can hold, and we decrease the temperature, then it cannot hold the same amount of water vapor. The water vapor will convert back into water droplets. It is called dew. It is that temperature where dew is formed. Finally, for the day, let us understand what units are we using to measure heat? You already know these units. The SI unit, Standard International Unit, is a joule, Joule. Symbol is capital J. And the CGS is the other system, which is centimeter, gram, and second system. We use calories. Short form will be CAL. We will not use C. We will use CAL. We can use small CAL. Joules and calories. But what is this? जैसे कि अगर मैं बोलूं आपको 1 मीटर कपड़ा लाना है, so it's not that my definition of meter is different from someone else's definition of meter. Everywhere meter means meter. So when we are saying joule or calorie, there has to be a specific definition. What is the meaning? Read on page number 67. Read the section which is under unit of heat. Read and tell me, how are we defining what is 1 joule? How are we defining what is 1 calorie? Read and share. Very important for us to know, understand that yes, we have already used joules to in various questions. जब हम energy calculate कर रहे थे, work done calculate कर रहे थे, heat calculate कर रहे थे, we have already used these units. But what is 1 joule? जैसे कि what is 1 meter? 1 meter is everywhere it is the same, right? There is a length of scale that is 1 meter. It cannot be smaller. It cannot be longer. Thank you, Chan. So when we are defining joule, what we are saying is, it is that amount of heat. It is that amount of heat. It is amount of heat, है ना? In both cases, it is some amount of heat that is required to increase the temperature of 1 kilogram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. This is the meaning of 1. Similarly, 1 calorie is that amount of heat which is required to heat 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. 1 calorie, this we need to remember, 1 calorie equals to 4 point, कितना दिया है? 18, कभी कभी लिखा जाता है joules. This we need to know. This we need to remember. Now the important thing to note here is the difference between how we are defining joule and calorie. Calorie, because it is a CGS unit, so we are using gram as mass of water. For joule, which is a SI unit, we are using kilogram as mass of water. So 1 calorie is 4.14 joules. Okay. The other important thing to note here is, we are defining, we are not just saying that we need to raise the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius. We are saying that we will change the temperature of the water from 14.5 degrees to 15.5 degrees. Very specific. Very specific. And we need to be specific because the amount of heat that is required to increase the temperature of water from, say, 5 degrees Celsius to 6 degrees Celsius is different from the amount that is required to change from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius, depending on various other physical characters, volume, pressure, temperature, all those things. So we are specifying the temperature range also. Okay. Yes, in the textbook it says 1 calorie is equals to 4.18 joules. I'm telling you another number also, which is 4.184, because many times what you will come across is it will say 1 kilocalorie, when 1000 calorie, it will say 4184 joules. 4180 नहीं लिखा होगा, उसमें लिखा होगा 4184 joules. So ये 4 कहाँ से आ गया? फिर तुम सोचने लगोगे 1000 मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे 4.18 में तो 4.180 होना चाहिए, right? So I am increasing the precision of the answer when I am saying 1 calorie equals to 4.184 joules. यहाँ पे मैं तुमको एक सवाल करना चाहता हूँ, सोचना, अभी जवाब मत देना, अभी जवाब ठीक से शायद मेरे पास भी नहीं है. Which is more, 1 kg of water or 1 gram of water? Of course, this is not the final question I'm going to ask. Which is more, 1 gram of water or 1 kilogram of water? 1 kg. So, किसको गर्म करने के लिए ज्यादा हीट की जरूरत पड़ेगी? 1 किलोग्राम of water or 1 gram of water? जब मास ज्यादा है तब उसको गर्म करने के लिए ज्यादा हीट की जरूरत पड़ेगी, है ना? और उसका मतलब है कि 1 किलोग्राम वाटर को 14.5 से 15.5 ले जाने के लिए जितना हीट जरूरत पड़ेगा, that will be more than the heat that will be required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius. हाँ कि ना? हाँ ही होना चाहिए. और अगर हाँ है और हमने पहले वाले को जूल बोला और दूसरे वाले को कैलोरी बोला, तुम मुझे बताओ which is bigger, which should be bigger, joule or calorie? 1 joule will be more than 1 calorie or 1 calorie will be more than 1 joule? What will be right? Definitely it will not be equal. यहाँ पे ग्रेटर देन का सिंबल आना चाहिए कि लेस देन का सिंबल आना चाहिए? Ankit is saying we should have the greater ka symbol. Okay. Now look at the relationship. 1 calorie equals to 4.184 joule. इससे हमको क्या पता चलता है? Which is bigger unit, calorie और joule? एक कैलोरी में 4 जूल्स हैं, तो इससे हमको ये पता चलता है that calorie is bigger than joule. तो कौन सा सही है? ये सही है कि ये सही है? That is the question I will leave you with. Is the question clear? We have defined joule, we have defined calorie. It seems that the amount of heat that we are referring to as joule is more than the amount of heat that we are referring to calorie. But we are saying 1 calorie equals to 4.184 joules. That means 1 calorie is more than joule हुआ ना? या तो मैंने क्वेश्चन गलत पूछा है या फिर हम गलत समझे ना. डोंट वरी, इट्स अ वेरी फन क्वेश्चन. देखना, मुझे फाइनली बताना कि इस फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स में हम क्या लिखेंगे. अंकित ने बोला है ग्रेटर देन. हाँ, ये सही है कि नहीं? डेफिनेटली इट इज रॉन्ग. इट शुड हैव बीन लेस देन. if you can prove to me why it should be less than, I will be happy to know. I did not record this because this is just a side thing, side question. I'm clearing the screen. We have come to the end of the theory for today. On the same page, we have introduction to scientist James Prescott Joule. प्लीज पढ़ो. वो हीट के मामले में ये गुरु हैं सबके, इन्होंने बहुत कुछ पता किया है. नो योर साइंटिस्ट. With this we will be able to answer 3 more questions which are there in the exercise. But even before that, we will make notes with respect to humidity, with respect to unit of measurement of heat, and then we will try to answer those questions. this is due tomorrow night. Let us quickly look at those questions. The first question that we can answer is 1A. 1A is a fill in the blanks question. You should also have your textbooks with you. The amount of water vapor in air is determined in terms of its what? What will be the word, single word that will come here? In terms of its what? I think it's just one word. Or two words. So Chanda is humidity, relative humidity, absolute humidity. No, Usman, heat is not the question here. So the amount of water vapor in air is determined in terms of its absolute humidity or relative humidity. Yep, agreed. The second question that we can answer is question number 4. Look at question number 4. While deciding the unit for heat, which temperature interval is chosen? Which temperature interval? Is it 0 to 1? Is it 2 to 3? Is it 9 to 10? What temperature interval is chosen? (14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. And why? You will say that the amount of heat required to increase the temperature by 1 degree Celsius also depends on what temperature range we are working on. So it is not 0 to 1, it is 14.5 to 15.5. It is not 0 to 1, it is 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Another interesting question of research for you would be, why only 14.5 to 15.5? Why is it not 14 to 15? Why is it not 5 to 6? Why is it not 19 to 20? Try that also. So one thing you are trying to understand is which is a bigger unit of heat, joule or calorie. Second thing you are trying to understand, which is not there in the textbook, why only 14.5 to 15.5? There is a reason. Find out. Finally, we can answer 6B. How can you relate the formation of water droplets on outer surface of a bottle taken out of a refrigerator with formation of dew? Of course, it is dew. The water vapor is coming into contact with a cold water bottle. The water vapor condenses and water droplets are formed. This is how dew is also formed. That is it.